Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation.
Hey, what's up, Spencer? My name is everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So, it has been quite a while since I have last uploaded, and I'll be honest, it's because I have been having crazy stuff going on in my life. It feels like anything that could happen did happen, and I have just been kind of just really struggling just to get through day by day. And it sucks because it always feels like I'm struggling, and that's because I'm disabled in many ways. I have ADHD, I have depression and bipolar, and like all of these things that constantly just pile up on each other and just make it so difficult for me to get the most basic things done. And it can be so frustrating and overwhelming and difficult and just make everything terrible, I guess. I don't know what else to say besides it just super sucks to be disabled and struggling all the time. And it's an incredibly lonely thing to be struggling with this stuff all the time. And recently I have been watching some of my favorite YouTuber, Allison Pages, who is a disabled YouTuber, and she very frequently talks about her disability and her struggles and the things that are hard for her. One of the reasons that I subscribe to her channel, she is technically a booktuber, though she doesn't spend as much time talking about books as other booktubers do. She does dedicate quite a bit of her channel to her disability and just trying to get along, and that's something that I really admire about her. It's difficult to keep going through disability and struggle and stuff like that, but seeing this other person be so open and honest about the things that they are struggling with. Allison doesn't really get into like a lot of details and stuff like that. She's just open about the fact that she's struggling, and then it's really hard to cope with all this shit day to day. And something about her being so honest about the struggles and stuff like that just makes me feel better about the things that I'm struggling with, and kind of makes me a little bit more motivated to kind of keep going and keep trying, even though I am struggling so much. You know, it's not really good to compare yourself to other people, but at the same time, like, it kind of feels that if Allison can do it, then I can do it too? I don't know. My point is, I don't want to feel so lonely and terrible all the time. I'm always going to be struggling. That's just kind of the truth of my life. I am never not going to be disabled. I'm never not going to have ADHD or autism or bipolar or have bad things happen in my life. So I'm always going to be struggling. So maybe trying to focus on being more open and honest and not isolating so much when I am struggling will help a little bit. I don't know. These are just thoughts and feelings, and I'm kind of just dumping these out here. So what we're doing is kind of just a regular vlog, kind of like a hangout vlog. I don't really have any structure for it because I feel like if I give myself too much structure and too much expectations, then that anxiety becomes way too overwhelming and it's too hard to put things out. One of the things why I struggle with putting out videos is because there's so many steps to make it so easy for me to get derailed along the way, whether it's in filming, editing, uploading, whatever. If I have like any sort of obstacle, it can just be so easy to derail me. So I want to try and decrease the anxiety around making videos to try and increase the amount of videos that I make. I don't know. I also think too much about how people are going to interpret my videos and stuff like that. I need to do that less. Nobody wants to get hate on the internet. We're all fearful of internet hate, and yet it is something that's gonna come no matter what I put up. I could put up the most like innocent thing in the world and there will be someone who takes a problem with it. So I need to get over myself a little bit. Reading. Let's finally talk about a little bit of reading that I have been doing. Currently, in the manga realm, I am working on Demon Slayer. This is the current series that I am trying to do my best to read entirely through. I have the 5th one. I'm waiting for the 6th one to come in from the library. It is on hold. Somebody has it. I'm waiting for somebody to return it so that I can get it. So I can read the 5th one today, and then I will be stuck for a little while until I get the 6th one from the library. I also just started The Will to Change, Men, Masculinity, and Love by Bell Hooks. This is a book about the intersectionality between feminism and men and masculinity, and how important it is to include men in feminism, and how we've spent all of this time kind of trying to fight against the patriarchy, and yet we never talk about men and masculinity and like the things that go on with them. Men are 50% of the population, just a lot of stuff. I've only read the first chapter so far, but it is pretty good. The first chapter went over how it can be very difficult for men to make positive changes and become better people because everyone is constantly ridiculing and crapping on them for anything that they do. It's difficult for men to show their emotions because other men will shame them for being too girly or it being gay to talk about your feelings and stuff like that. And plenty of women will talk about how it's important for men to express their feelings, but once men do start expressing their feelings, there are a lot of women who are very uncomfortable with that, especially when men start talking about like negative feelings that they're having. So yeah, it's very interesting. I really like this and am excited to get deeper into it. I am also listening to the audiobook. Where is my phone? Do I have it out here? I feel like I left it in my room. The audiobook of The Women Will Fly, I think it's called. I'm about a quarter of the way through it so far. It is about a woman whose mother has disappeared several years ago. Nobody knows what happened to her. And now that she is grown up, her mother's will has come into effect and she is expected to go to this island to try and collect these like special apples. And in this world, witchcraft is kind of a real thing and women are frequently monitored to make sure that they're not doing like any like evil witchcraft and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting, but I'm also not fully into it because it feels like a lot of the books that I am reading right now, you know, it's kind of this and that. And I also just finished Final Girl Support Group. A lot of the things that I'm reading right now seem very men versus women, talking a lot about men being dangerous and predatory and women being victims and always being attacked. And reading about that stuff can get very emotionally draining. So I think that I want to take a little bit of a break from that, and I don't fully want to put down The Women Will Fly, The Women Do Fly, but I also feel like I'm not fully able to absorb what the book is trying to like get into because I am just not in the emotional space for it. Right now, I think that I'm gonna get into some Christmas decorating. It is a few days before Thanksgiving. I technically have my tree up, though I haven't decorated it yet, so I think today might be a good day to start all of the Christmas decorations, getting all that shit out. Yes. see from behind me, I have now decorated my Christmas tree and finished putting out all my decorations. That was pretty nice. Sorry if you can hear my dishwasher. It took me a little while to be able to figure out where I want everything to go because I have a lot of Christmas decorations and lots of things that I have kind of like gotten from my family over the years, but I finally figured everything out. I really like how my tree came out. And while I was decorating, I was able to actually listen to the entirety of the book Night Swim by Megan Golden, which now that I have read the book, I don't think that that's a very good name for the book. I really think that they should have picked something different. So I know that I had said like, oh, I'm kind of getting a little bit tired of reading books where the main theme is women getting hurt by men, and then I ended up picking up this book. I'm trying to read through all of my thrillers. I have a huge backlist of thrillers, so I kind of just picked a thriller at random, and I should have known better because thrillers tend to be focused on women being brutalized by men, but this ended up being a story about a girl who was sexually assaulted by a boy and the entire trial around it. And the main character is a journalist who's doing this like true crime podcast, and she's simultaneously investigating another rape and murder that happened like 25 years before. I have to say, even though I am a little bit emotionally worn out from this type of theme, I still really enjoyed this book. I'm giving it 4.5 stars. I really like Megan Golden. This is the second book of hers that I have read. Her first one, Stay Awake, was incredible. 5 stars. Highly recommend it. Definitely one of my favorite thrillers. And this one was really good as well, because I felt like it covered such a wide variety of the aspects that make sexual assault being on trial so difficult. It wasn't as tiring for me to read. Also, I think because this was more in the frame of a thriller as opposed to a literary fiction, so there is more of a plot going on. I am a very plot-based person. If there isn't plot, if it's all character-based, then that can be very boring for me and can be tough for me to get through. So yes, Night Swim, loved it. 4.5 stars out of 5. Good morning. I hope that you're having a good day. So last night, all that I really did was do all of my editing from footage from yesterday. I read volume 5 of Demon Slayer. 5 out of 5 stars. Love it. And I also tried to finish watching Future Diary, but I did fall asleep right at the very end. I got like 2 more episodes left, and that's it. Today, what I need to do is I'm gonna go and get a haircut because tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so I want to look kind of nice. And I also have to go and pick up my groceries later tonight. For reading, I am going to continue with my bell hooks, the will to change, which I have in the other room, of course. And I think I'm gonna DNF The Women Could Fly because nothing is really happening at all. I'm 40% of the way through and nothing is really going on. I am really bored with it. So I think I'm just gonna accept that this just isn't really one for me and move on to something else. What that something else is, I don't know yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. I read another chapter in The Will to Change. This chapter was about patriarchy and how both men and women uphold patriarchy, and how a lot of the times men who fall into upholding the patriarchy don't do it because they want to, but because they're really like brutalized into it and abused into it and are raised in a system that makes it so that if they really want to like have any type of happiness in any way, you kind of gotta fall into it, because so much of resisting the patriarchy means going against everybody in your life and having people judge you and really crap on you for it. And so a lot of people will, after a while, they'll rebel against it for a while, but then be browbeaten into it. And a lot of boys will be browbeaten into it at a really young age, because when you're 3 years old, you don't have the type of thought and mindset and ability to be able to really rage and stand up against these things. And by the time you truly become aware of all of the things that you have learned and are now doing, it is already so ingrained in you, and you have already done so much damage to yourself and to other people, and it's just so difficult to unlearn. And we need to start viewing men more as comrades against the patriarchy as opposed to agents of the patriarchy if we ever truly want to take it down and make a better place for everybody to live. I'm not really sure if I want to do this as kind of like a one chapter a day type thing, or if I want to keep reading it. Part of me wants to keep reading it, and part of me wants to only do one chapter because I want to read the chapter and then be able to really think about what the chapter is about and stuff like that, you know? So, alright. I also started A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy I. Lin. I am about 40 pages into it, and I gotta say, it's not super doing it for me, because it really heavily reminds me of a lot of other books that I've read before, and not in a good way, not in a, ooh, like this reminds me of. It's a, oh, you're just rewriting story that I've already read. Let me go back for a second and talk about what this is about. So our main character, I don't even remember what her name is, Ning, she works as kind of like a tea connoisseur. She knows how to read tea leaves and like kind of uses them medicinally, I guess. I don't fully understand it yet, but her mom died of poison tea, and now her sister is sick from the same poison tea, and she has to go to the capital and try and win this like exotic tea competition in order to try and gain a favor from the princess and make it so that her sister can like be looked at by a doctor and hopefully not die from poison. The main thing that is not vibing with me for this book is the fact that this is one of those types of books where the plot is happening to the main character. The main character is not interacting with the plot, which I hate that. Everything, we're only 40 pages in, and already lots of things are being handed to the main character. Her sister is sick, and she doesn't go out and try and find a way to make her sister better. Somebody shows up and tells her about this competition. The competition has now started, and she needs to find these exotic teas. Does she do anything to try and find it? No. Somebody else shows up and says, hey, you seem like a nice girl. Let me show you where all the fancy teas are. Like, this stuff with like the poison tea in her family. She's leaving and someone literally drops a bag of poison tea in front of her so that now she knows that, oh, the governor lied to us the whole entire time. Like, we thought that all the poison tea was gone, but clearly here's more poison tea, so he must be hiding it from, like, literally everything is being handed to this main character. She has not done anything, and I hate that. How am I supposed to root for a character who has no agency and has literally done nothing? Not just that, but the stakes for this book seem pretty low to me. Like, Her sister's just dying, that's it. Which I know that sounds like kind of harsh, but she's competing against like all of these other people who also want to gain a favor from the princess, so I'm sure that there are plenty of other people who also have sick family members or poor family members or family members who just need help in general, so I don't understand why we're following this girl and why she's supposed to be like so special and all of this stuff. I don't know. It just seems so stupid. Kenzie, do you have to loudly chew on your food while I'm recording? I'm gonna keep reading this. Hopefully it gets better. Ow, don't forget. Your nose is cold. And hopefully I get more invested into it. Yeah, okay. So for this last day of this vlog, I didn't end up doing any face-to-face vlogging. I only got B-roll because it was Thursday, it was Thanksgiving, and this was my first Thanksgiving without my grandfather. He passed only about a month ago, so it's been a fairly recent thing, which obviously makes everything fresher and hurt a little bit more. And so much of this period of holidays coming up feels like a mourning period for me, as opposed to something that's going to be fun and exciting. Because with the death of my grandfather comes, for many reasons, the death of holidays in general. I do not have much of a family. It is literally just me, my sister, and my parents. So now that my grandfather is gone, my family has decided that there isn't particularly any reason for us to continue having any sort of holidays. There's no need for us to try and get together and do family things anymore. So it's very difficult and painful for me because I am losing not just my grandfather, but in many ways my family and traditions that we have had and celebrated since I was a small child. And it is in these times that I keep coming back to how lonely I consistently feel. And it's a month before the new year, but I don't want to feel that way anymore. And so I want to kind of refuse to feel that way anymore. So once again, that's kind of what this video is for and about. I've been having a hard time, but I want to keep fighting through that. And I hope that in some way, this video kind of reaches you and also makes you feel a little bit less lonely, because it is very tough and difficult to be lonely all the time. But maybe with all of this amazing technology that we have nowadays, we can somehow find a way to connect and be less lonely than we were before. Anyway, I think that's kind of all that I have for today. So if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to support my very mid art, then you can follow my art Tumblr. But besides that, I just hope that you stay safe and have a fantastic day. Bye.